Well, these are my texts here.
Right, they're all primary texts.
Plato, Aristotle, Plotinus. I mean, this is wonderful. This is literature from the Gold Mass of Apuleius over chronologically, roughly.
I'm horrified. Those are translations.
Well, some are.
Oh, okay.
This is original. This is original.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. You've restored my faith.
It's also a very nice edition.
That's beautiful.
A nice text. But I think the best translation of Homer is by Rouse in prose. But that was the key thing, is to have the originals. Although I read Voltaire when I was first year of college one summer. I read Voltaire, so that's in translation, please. But here, indeed, is Bonhoven, Doyevaert, Zuidemer, Poplar, etc. And it goes up, and then it starts to, let's see, that's more or less all that. And then I start with, Heaven and Earth, Anthropology, and then some other stuff. And then it starts modally. So mathematics, biology, psychology, etc. Logic, sociology, economics, political science, and then theology is in the crates, which came from Holland.
Beautiful crates.
So it's basically theology's over here. It's Old Testament, New Testament, and then basically I just have biblical theology stuff. That's from my mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she catch it?
What?
Did she catch it?
Or she didn't catch it. That was part of this was just for the sweat lately. And usually that works. I really like it to have two lights. It seems to have helped my eyes quite well. So this is basically, it's set up, I always feel somewhat like an organ. You know, I can play all the stops and stuff. And it was interesting that this was the same way I had it in Worth, Illinois. I mean, like closed in. I don't really want a big study, although with the books now I have to go to the next room over, and now I'm developing to the third room, so it's getting to be a bit more difficult that way. But I like to have everything at my fingertips, as it were. The aesthetics is all here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does need some kind of ordering, which I hope to do if I live.
Now, where's my master's thesis?
It's in the next room.
Oh, okay, very good.
I'll show you. It's in line with all the other ones. Yeah, that's where Scott's will be too, we hope.
And David.
So there's not much activity, so to speak. You just sit and
sit and work. You can see your graham crackers.
Yeah, that's because that's honey. That's allowable now these days.
They just swear off groundings.
Yeah.
We saw the big stack of empty boxes up there.
Yeah. That's a portrait I did of Inés when I was taking lessons. That was the Navanya. So she went through a divorce.
The call.
There's a little nook where you can take a nap?
Yeah, but it's been too laden with things for several years.
Oh no.
So I haven't done it, so I need to take the stuff off again. I used to be able to take my 20-minute naps.
Right,
Yeah. Right, it was, now it's become about 25 when I take them, which is good. If you really have a deep 25 minutes, then you're good for another 8 hours.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Still
was I'd learned, I read somewhere, I can't remember it, that Edison slept 4 hours a night because Edison learned to sit in such a way at his desk where the lactic acid would not build up in his joints, So I usually sit on the edge of a chair, sway, and then you have to be very interested in what you're doing. And I forget the third thing was, but I used to do that. But my kids told me not to do that anymore because you could live on nerve energy. In other words, and I did that for years and years. And then in the spring, when the school was over, then you'd switch back to muscle energy, and you'd always get sick for a week or so. But you don't. If you just live on, not a lot of exercise then, which is not good for you, of course. But if you live on nerve energy, then you can sleep less and work. But then the alternative to that was taking. For a while, it used to be 12 minutes, 12-minute naps, and I could lie down, drop into a 12-minute deep sleep, and then wake up without any alarm or something. And then I forget when I did it in the Netherlands a lot. And then at no time it suddenly turned into 20 minutes. And but since I haven't stayed up all night anymore for the last couple of years, then well, I guess it's gotten to be 25. You take a nap. But my doctor says that's good if you can do that. It really is very healthy to be able to take a postprandial nap. So. But I guess if I get tired, if I can't think, then I go lie down briefly, and then it comes again. And we can just keep going here. But the key thing is to be interested in what you're doing, and to not be interrupted by telephones or anything.
What's like a fully reformational view of organizing your files?
Well, I wanted to do that once. Roget's Thesaurus.
Right.
Examine the philosophy that's behind that.
Right.
Because most of the words I use in Roget's Thesaurus are back in the 700s, 800s, 900s. It gets less and less abstract. It works from very abstract categories. I don't know what it would be, but alphabetical is probably something you can't beat. But so these are my artistic figures. Addison, Benjamin didn't make it into philosophy.
Benjamin.
Well, not yet.
Look.
Right. No, it's not.
Wayne C. Booth.
Right.
Whoa, hold it here.
George Gross.
Gombrich.
Right. Yeah, well, that may be. There may be some crossovers here, Diderot, but they're not standard philosophical texts like here. You see, this is
right.
Hegel.
Oh, Derrida's in there.
Heidegger.
Okay, that's okay.
Casey. But see, some may be Maritain, Nietzsche, Plato.
Nietzsche? What's he doing with the philosopher?
Yeah, I know. So I'm not sure why some of those are that way. This is.
I'm just kidding. I get in trouble. I get all
see,
sorts of...
what you need to do is put dates on. I don't have dates on mine.
Oh.
See, and that's going to be. I got to try and do that next year. Is put some order to the dates.
Those are all your speeches.
Yeah.
Those are speeches you've given.
Yeah.
Now, if I know you correctly, no two speeches in here will be the same.
Probably right. Yeah.
Did you substantially rework everything? And these are largely unpublished.
Well, no, yeah,
Okay.
probably, yeah. But they're occasional speeches. Right. But see, some of them I'm starting to use over a little bit now, or take parts of. That's why in the thing that you and Scott have done now, there are a couple doublets.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll use a couple figures again. But
these are your courses.
These are the courses, but see,
Oh,
it's spilled over. You see, it's spilled over. And it's not. I think there's some. Here's the IDS stuff. Some of it. Creation ordinances. There's more speeches. And I've got one file of Trinity stuff. These are the courses I gave at Trinity for 13 years. And this is some extra Trinity stuff. These were 3-hour exams at Trinity for freshman students. This was in Greek and Roman philosophy. And so it was tough. So maybe these were only 2.5-hour exams because it was a 2-hour course. But at least halfway down I would have something called comic relief. And here's one. In loving memory of the wives of those philosophers who, while up in orbit or in the super-individual universal mind, fall in wells. A philosophical astronaut spent years at lecturing mathematical thought. his class exclaimed he never bungles, and sent him off to distant jungles. Camped on a tropic riverside, one day he missed his loving bride. She had, the guide informed him later, been eaten by an alligator. The brilliant sage could not but smile. You mean, he said, a crocodile. I mean, there's one, I forget, about a brown cow or something or other. They were shorter. So, I mean, it was usually, I snitched them from Ogden Nash or something like that. And,
Oh, no!
Yeah, and then I liked Ogden Nash.
Now, I remember also something about you hiding tests.
Oh, yeah. I did that at the Institute. They didn't like that.
Oh, yeah. Probably just didn't like the idea of having a test.
Well, no, they had to find it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was their papers. They had to find their paper. I put their
very
name
good.
on it, just to make sure that they couldn't say they didn't get it. And therefore I have not read it by the time that we were going to have it. I learned that from Zeideman about tests. A good test teaches you something. So, a good test would be not something you had taught, but that they had to relate on the test different things you had said and taught, and then suddenly they put it together themselves on the exam, and then they had an aha erlebnis, so to speak. But and poorer students wouldn't do that, but they would just tell you what you had said, but they wouldn't see the connection. So if you could write a test that asked them to make a connection which you hadn't taught, then you made a test, educational experience, and that's what it ought to be, I think. This is Psalter hymnal stuff. Oh, this is my notes from when I was at the. This is my Précis or Doiver's 3 volumes. Going through it, when I studied it for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I had to take an exam with Zeideman on Doiver's 3 volumes. So, I'd gone through it pretty carefully. And then the question he asked me floored me. What's the order of the book? Tell me the table of contents divisions. It was a wonderful question. It was very good because then you knew, did you know the forest or didn't you?
Yeah.
Psalter hymnal. This is Old Testament wisdom. Oh, and that's more classic. So that's basically it. Okay. Yeah, these are Vollenhoven's charts from about 1960 something. Vollenhoven was visiting Runner, and I lived in Chicago then, and we decided to meet halfway between Chicago and Grand Rapids. And we met in White Pigeon, Michigan, which was really just a crossroad with a restaurant. And so we went there, and there was Dr. and Mrs. Vollenhoven, and Runner and his wife, and myself and Inés, and our 3 kids. And that's when Andreas is the one who gave me these photocopies of Vollenhoven's charts, which was the only thing that existed at that time. Vollenhoven had these charts, but of course he wouldn't let them out of his hands. But I guess Andreas got a hold of them for an hour and photocopied them somewhere. It must have cost a lot of money back in those days. But there they are. At this restaurant, Vollenhoven, Runner, and myself were arguing about which text of Aristotle should be in 2C3 or 2C4 Aristotle, because this was a new development in Vollenhoven's development. So you can see there's not much around in 2C4 Aristotle yet. And this started to develop partly because I worked on Croce, because Croce is right down here, and Vollenhoven didn't have any of the monarchian categories yet. But because Croce didn't fit any of his categories, which I was very glad about, he made some, so to speak, so we got the monarchian, so that comes off of late Aristotle. But it was all really a theater of the absurd, because these 3 guys in White Pigeon, Michigan, talking about Aristotle, twee zij drie and twee zij vier. Nobody in the world would have understood what we were talking about. Pyrrhicistic. which is quite close to Comenius, who Wellick, when I sent him my copy of my dissertation, he said, look, I've gone through Comenius, with a fine-tooth comb. I don't see how Croce really is related to his thought pattern. That's what von Heuvelin thought at the time. There's Comte, but I doubt whether that's correct. But see, these were all written on von Heuvelin's own charts, apparently. There's like arrows going from one and up to the other, so as if they're all in tension,
Right.
rather than pigeonholed.
And that would fit with his idea, because he understood himself as a monist, right?
Yeah, right.
So, a process kind of thing.